Destiny 2 is already dead, exactly as I predicted 2 or 3 months ago. And now we have direct confirmation for this. The final shape is dead even before release, which is absolutely amazing news. Because that means that Bungie will have absolutely no control in the near future over Destiny 2, and it's gonna be in Microsoft hands. Which is a good thing, because Bungie are a bunch of inept losers who cannot do anything properly. The greatest feat that Bungie ever did was convince people that it was Activision Blizzard's fault that Destiny 2 was bad. No, it was always Bungie's fault themselves that Destiny 2 had issues and was bad. So this is good news for a brighter future.
How's this Destiny? The final shape pre-orders seem to be less than 25% of Lightfall's total figures. Holy fuck. This is based on pre-order exclusive emblems for expansions applied on all public Destiny profiles. Data provided to us by Charlemagne. Oh my lord.
So this is what I was talking about the last time we looked into this Destiny 2 sales figures. I talked about this, and now the obvious thing is happening. Because of the way that Destiny 2 succeeded and then failed, they cannot meet the expectations that are put on them for the sales numbers. Because of the sequence of victory, failure that Destiny 2 has had, there is no way for them to actually match expectations for anything. Player numbers, pre-sale numbers, sale numbers, microtransactions, nothing. It is impossible them to match these expectations as a publicly traded... Well, it's not a publicly traded company, but considering Microsoft is, looking down their necks, it might as well be that situation, because Microsoft knows that they are not going to achieve the numbers that they must achieve, so Microsoft doesn't take over. It's beautiful.
Stream is about to derail for just a moment. I hope you guys don't mind, but this is that's pretty big news. I'm curious to know how they came up with that figure though, more than anything. So, at the end of the day, man, I don't want to see Destiny fail. I think Destiny is... I actually love Destiny still, but again, I'm more interested to know how they came up with these numbers. Let's start though. Analysis. Destiny 2.
No idea, but I'm assuming it's true.
To the final shape pre-orders appear to be less than a quarter of Lightfall's total figures. This is by Zuhad, which we've read a number of articles from Zuhad here. The Game Post analysis shows Destiny 2 the final shape has the lowest numbers of pre-orders when compared to the pre-orders for the last 3 expansions. In the ever-evolving world of Destiny 2, pre-order figures have always been a critical indicator of player anticipation and overall interest in annual expansions. And as an avid Destiny 2 enthusiast, delving into the realm of pre-order data has unveiled intriguing insights into the upcoming expansion, the final shape. The final shape will be the last expansion in Destiny's 10.
You know what I think this actually is? This is just gaslighting. They're not analyzing anything. Some guy from Destiny who just knows those numbers told them. I think that's what it is. They're just trying to obfuscate the fact that that's the reality, what happened, and they're just like trying to gaslight you with fancy sentences and words of analyzing previous data, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, not real.
10-year-long Light versus Darkness saga. The expansion was initially planned to be released later this month on February 27th, 2024. However, due to Destiny 2 underperformance, lower than expected pre-order numbers for the final shape, and revenue projections running below 45% for the year, Bungie decided to delay the release until June 4th, 2024, and laid off 8% of its...
Also, the fact that Bungie themselves understood that, wait a minute, Lightfall is not... The final shape is such an absolute disaster that we need to delay and fix some things. You know, typically that sounds good. But you need to understand that this is a double-edged sword. If a company is good, then them delaying a game is actually good news. If a company is bad, they're just delaying the game for no reason. They're not going to fix it. The reality is, Bungie probably has absolutely no clue what is even bad about the final shape. So, them delaying and trying to salvage these things is, like, completely futile.
Workforce in October 2023, as reported by Bloomberg and IGN. Both the Witch Queen and Lightfall expansions were successful in terms of sales. The Witch Queen not only succeeded in its sales, but also received praise for its story, activities, and the raid. It did. Witch Queen was great. However, the same cannot be said for Lightfall. While Lightfall achieved sales success, it did not deliver...
people talked about Lightfall previously because I haven't played this. So commonly, as much as I understand it about Destiny, it is pretty much as commonly understood that 2 years ago or 3 years ago at this point, there was a writer who was leading Destiny in a pretty good direction, but then a bunch of ESG shit happened and they fired that writer, and that's how you get Lightfall. A bunch of gay dudes kissing and telling how amazing it is to be whatever it is. And, you know, it's like, did anyone ask for this? No. Well, that's not true. The ESG score asked for that, so there you kind of go. There you have it. You know, just a bunch of things that didn't make sense got introduced, and it all went downhill from there.
The penultimate storytelling experience that most fans hoped for, which resulted in poor reception from...
It was pretty much as woke as possible. Like, there was no reason for you to understand that half of the current cast is somehow magically now gay. But, you know, again, go woke, go broke.
Critics and fans. On the other hand, The Witch Queen not only succeeded in its sales, but also received praise for its story, activities, and the raid. I would definitely put a big emphasis on the raid. I mean, the raid for the Witch Queen, I just didn't expect that level, especially like the day one experience for it was so good. Now, data sources, caveats, and methodology. The data used in this analysis is provided to the game post by Charlemagne, the Warmind of Discord, a third-party app that obtains it directly from Bungie's API for Destiny. However, how this works is that Charlemagne scans all unique Destiny profiles, which amounts to around 66 million, to track every account that has acquired the pre-order bonus emblems for the expansion. Holy crap.
Oh.
These emblems can only be acquired if a player pre-orders the expansion. Okay, so guys, I'm sure most of you are probably...
So this is probably legit, huh?
Familiar with Charlemagne. We use Charlemagne for, you know, a lot of data analysis within Destiny if we're ever trying to pull numbers for specific things. So this is Charlemagne's website. You can add them to your Discord.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure all of our data, though, is all provided by Charlemagne, right? Oh, Alexander said, hold on. Alexander says not everyone grabs the emblem from the kiosk, though. I don't think it's only counting emblems that have been picked up, right? It would still be on their account because it's unlocked.
Yeah, it would still probably be on the account. It's just the well, maybe not, but then again, most likely most people who care enough to pre-order it instantaneously grab the thing from the shop. Like, you know, clicking on it. Okay, maybe 10% of people who pre-ordered didn't actually click on it. That would be my guess. If you're gonna pre-order it because you want the emblem boost bonus, then you're probably clicking on it.
All right. All right. So my question is, based on what you guys are saying, so you're saying that the numbers here could be better considering there are maybe a number of people that didn't grab.
I mean, could be better is not gonna cut it. At this time, they don't need to be better. They need to be 2 times better, which is impossible, probably.
But dude, these are Destiny players. How many Destiny players wouldn't grab the emblem? Let's read this important note.
How many people in general would not grab that in any game?
That said, it's important to note that the data provided here may not be the exact representation of the official numbers, as there are some limitations. For instance, Charlemagne cannot access the data of players who have set their profiles to private mode, which makes up approximately less than 1% of the total player base. Additionally,
yeah, I was gonna say, games that have private mode, no one uses it.
The data does not...
Why would you use it? What do you have? 200 friends that are constantly bugging you? Hell no.
Reflect the pre-order emblems that are not acquired from the in-game vendors, Master Raoul, and special delivery kiosks. As a result, there may be a difference between the numbers presented here and the official figures for the expansions. Oh, okay. We are comparing the
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The initial number is way too little.
Pre-orders for 4 Destiny 2 expansions Beyond Light, the Witch Queen, Lightfall, and the Final Shape. Let's take a look at the exclusive emblems available to players who pre-ordered any edition of these expansions. The pre-order exclusive emblem for Beyond Light is called Beyond Light. For the Witch Queen, it's Lucidity. The exclusive emblem for Lightfall is Neomuna Night, and for the Final Shape, it's Paracausal Path. Now, it's worth mentioning that the pre-order emblem for the Shadowkeep Benign Omen was only available with the Shadowkeep Deluxe Edition. Therefore, the data available for it is not as precise as that for the other expansions, since the emblem wasn't included as a standard pre-order bonus with the standard edition. Now, comparing the numbers, how low are the Final Shape pre-orders? Based on the game post analysis and the data provided by Charlemagne on February 23rd, 2024, it's
Okay, so also a reason why these numbers don't matter even if they're 10% or 20% wrong, because these people are obviously doing what every beginner in statistical analysis, well, not statistical, I guess, in business analysis of this sort would always do. They're obviously comparing it to the previous expansions and whatnot, what they saw in those numbers and the way that they got those numbers. Okay? This is not random. And that means, essentially, I'm saying, if their predictions for the last two expansions were relatively close to correct, like, spot on 10, 20, 30% off, then this is going to be the exact same deal.
seems that Beyond Light received the highest number of pre-orders among the 4 expansions. Really? Lightfall follows in 2nd place, with the Witch Queen in 3rd place, and the Final Shape having the lowest pre-orders. Now, to put this into perspective, Destiny 2's previous expansion, Lightfall, released in February 2023, has around 2.249 million estimated lifetime pre-orders. The Witch Queen, released in 2022, has 2.244 million lifetime pre-orders, and Beyond Light, released in 2020, and has 3.189 million lifetime pre-orders. Dude, Beyond Light had that many pre-orders? That's crazy.
That's a lot.
More than Witch Queen? What was going on? What was going on with Beyond Light? I mean, I know we had stasis. Oh, yeah, that's right, guys. It was COVID. We didn't have nothing else to do.
Was it 2020?
I forgot. We were all at home. Well, here's the thing, too. We had Beyond Light.
Huh. Well, 2021 would be the same thing, technically.
We were pitching it as well. Like, it was pitched to me that we were heading into, like, Destiny 3 territory. Remember the whole, the update we were supposed to be getting, or the weather system, right? The dynamic weather system was a really big deal. That was the big pitch, and that there would be these graphical updates throughout Destiny. I don't know. For some reason, and we're actually making a video on this. For some reason, though, Destiny 2 seems to look worse graphically than it did before Beyond Light. But that's not what this is about. But COVID obviously boosted these numbers. Now, here are the estimated pre-order numbers for all 4 expansions based on our analysis. Beyond Light, almost 3.2 million. Witch Queen, 2.25. Lightfall, 2.249. And the Final Shape, oh my.
Well, to be absolutely, that number should be, by the way, 558K. What the hell? I thought they said 1/4. But in any case, there is a chance that this number is off because of the strange situation that is occurring. Now, this is the only thing that I would give the Final Shape for a chance at some kind of magical redemption, okay? But again, this estimate is way too low. So again, nothing is going to save Destiny at this point. But there is something that you can say about the Final Shape, is the fact that it got delayed, and that is a unique situation that you cannot account for. Which means that, well, if you look at pre-orders, I'm going to assume that the pre-order graph looks something like this. This is the graph. This is where the pre-orders start. And then when the pre-orders are able to be bought, and this is the end when the expansion releases and pre-orders cannot be bought. So this is here. This is the big pre-order boost. It's huge. Everyone's buying it. And as time passes, people's interests wane because, everyone has already bought everything. And then it goes down, down, down. And the closer you get to release, the more hype actually now happens and the pre-orders go up. So, there is a chance that the Final Shape has gotten affected in a somewhat strange way. But then again, I don't know, was Final Shape pre-orderable before it got delayed? Or how is that exactly working? So, that probably is creating a, discrepancy here. But again, with estimates like this, if these guys have been spot on into a 20 point of error, Destiny 2 has no hope.
My God, 407,601. Dude, this is awful, guys. If this is the case, if this is real, holy shit, that's terrible. Now, look, I'm just gonna say from my my own experience during the final shape reveal. We're watching it and everybody's in there, you know, we're all kind of like taking in all the information, right? But dude, it was so different than Lightfall because
Dude, the final shape, I saw the trailers for it. You know, that freaky, you know, Dexter's laboratory, like, reject thing. Dude, that doesn't seem like an end point for anything, honestly. It kind of just seems lame. It looks like it's just some kind of autistic kid looking at you with their freaky eyes because he wasn't aborted. That's what the final shape kind of seems. I mean, but I'm not even sure. Is that the antagonist? Is that the protagonist? Is that exactly the what? Is that the final shape? Who fucking knows at this point, right? I don't even know if that's the baddie, but you know, whatever that pencil-looking thing is, it's just like, yeah, this is not exciting in general. This is super not exciting.
so many were like, yeah, I think I'm gonna wait. I think I'm gonna wait on this one. Whereas like Lightfall, when Lightfall was shown, everybody was like, oh my God, I love it. Let me buy it. I'm getting it now. This is gonna be hyped. We're going into Infinity War right now. And then Final Shape will be in game. Final Shape didn't have that. And understand Lightfall had that hype because A, Lightfall looked dope. It's a dope name, right? And B, Witch Queen really was a good expansion, and that was a good ramp up for it. And again, I'm just basing this off of, because we watch the reveal every year, the big buy doc and everything. And, you know, it's normally a moment there where we get really hyped. And I just noticed like this past year or last year, like the hype was just dead. And so many people were saying,
makes sense.
I'm going to wait until after this expansion rolls out. There's literally nothing to look forward to in the final shape. There's no Witch Queen boss, no stasis, no strand, no hype. Man, dude.
Yeah, again, and especially if you look at the trailers, they just what am I supposed to be hyped exactly about that?
How much better do you think the pre-orders would have been had there been a red subclass? That red subclass that was teased, you know? Notice the expansions here, like Beyond Light, Lightfall brought new subclasses, right? But Witch Queen, the narrative was so good. And
again, the final shape is like fetal alcohol syndrome in the person, you know? It's that's the grayish looking dude. Like, you can't. It's like, what's the hype?
There were so many great things about Witch Queen. So I don't know, man. I kind of wish Bungie could just do it all. You know, if these numbers are true, I'm concerned. My concern now is that this is not the first wave of layoffs that Bungie got this past November when they had the big layoffs. My concern is that this is one of perhaps multiple waves of layoffs. All right, let's continue. Surprisingly, the number for all 4 emblems are still rising to this day. It highlights that the data...
Also, what in reality now will happen, considering Microsoft is threatening to take over Destiny 2 because of their deal, is the fact that at this point, the leadership of the company, Bungie, has absolutely no downside to just destroying the company, essentially, and just in the vague hopes of still being in poverty. Because for them, staying in poverty is better than the alternative to get taken over by Microsoft and get absolutely Thanos snapped out of existence with a 100% guarantee.
Derived from pre-order emblems does not precisely mirror the actual pre-order numbers, but there exists a solid correlation between the two. Our analysis also shows that the Final Shape expansion managed to secure roughly 15,000 pre-orders. 15,000 emblems were applied to the profiles in the 15-day period starting from February 5th and ending on February the 20th. Bungie made an official announcement on February 1st, 2022, stating that the Witch Queen, a highly anticipated expansion for Destiny 2, had already surpassed 1 million pre-orders and is on track to be the most pre-ordered expansion in Destiny 2 history. Although the Destiny developer did not disclose the official pre-order figures for the Lightfall expansion, it can be assumed that it also surpassed the 1 million pre-orders before or by February 1st, 2023, considering it had more pre-orders than the Witch Queen. However, for the Final Shape, the pre-orders haven't even come close to the above figures. The significant drop in pre-orders can be attributed to several causes. One of the reasons for this could be that fans are being cautious and waiting for more information about the Final Shape before making a decision, especially after Lightfall failed.
Also, but most of those people are gonna break at some point and they're just gonna pre-order it. Especially if there's like, play 3 days earlier than everyone else.
hit the mark for many fans. Exactly. The game post has reached out to Bungie for comment on this piece. Now, player sentiment, the delay, layoffs, and a marketing void. Despite being one of the best-selling expansions in Destiny 2 and having broken the record for all-time high concurrent players on Steam, Lightfall faced severe backlash. Its story campaign was lackluster and failed to meet expectations, even with its commercial success. This marked the beginning of a decline in player sentiment and
yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense. If the Witch Queen is really good, you're kind of expecting the same from the next expansion. And, you know, if you get the same, that's good. It's still fine. It's still fun, right? But Lightfall was a disaster. As much as I understand, no one likes Lightfall. It's, like, hard to actually find people that think that Lightfall was great as a whole. Did it have, like, things that, you know, people did like? Yeah, you know, for each their own a little bit, yes. But overall, it's, as far as I understand, it's really hard to find anyone who enjoyed Lightfall.
Situation was made worse by the lack of updates to PvP content. The disregard for Gambit, a hybrid PvP-PvE mode introduced in 2018, repetitive seasonal model, increased number of in-game monetization, and time-gated quests. The announcement of the Final Shape's delay in late 2023 added a new level of intricacy to Destiny 2's already complex narrative. With the extended 6-month wait, along with the 8% layoffs at Bungie, there was an undeniable feeling of uncertainty in the air, which also stirred questions about the expansion's development and the studio's ability to deliver a fitting end to this saga. So Destiny Bulletin actually did theirs right there. Have you pre-ordered Destiny 2 The Final Shape? Yes, not yet, but I will. Waiting for more details, not pre-ordering. So 30.9% on that. Now, the Game Post Destiny Bulletin conducted a poll on X on February 22nd. The poll.
So essentially, it is possible that they double this number, but that's not going to be enough. When I say double, I didn't actually understand how high previous expansions sold. I thought they sold less. But wow, man, shit.
Right. So 30.9% on that. Now, the Game Post Destiny Bulletin conducted a poll on X on February 22nd. The poll received over 20,000 votes and revealed that 30.9% of voters are not pre-ordering the Final Shape expansion. 20.6%.
20,000 votes is enough people actually to get a relatively accurate estimate of what the real deal is going to be.
Percent are waiting for more details on the expansion. 22.6% haven't pre-ordered yet, but plan to in the future, and 26% have already pre-ordered the expansion. While this poll only represents a fraction of the overall Destiny 2 player base, it provides a general idea of the player sentiment regarding Bungie and the Destiny franchise.
It's enough people to say that, yeah, this is probably going to be an accurate gauge of how the masses feel in general.
In a report from IGN, it was revealed that the player sentiment surrounding Destiny 2 was at an all-time low, with employees begging for necessary changes to win players back. Bungie CEO Pete Parsons also told employees that the layoffs were largely due to underperformance of Destiny 2 over the last year, as well as lower than expected pre-orders for the Final Shape expansion. Following the layoffs in late 2023, Bloomberg Jason Schreier reported that Destiny 2 experienced a significant decrease in popularity among players. As per the report, the game's revenue projections for the year were below 45%. Again, pre-orders are important.
And again, below 45%. I'm not going to go over this, but my prediction that is a 50% loss of players. Most likely. Because I do not assume that Wales are keeping Destiny 2 alive in everything, in the way that they calculate probably the revenue. It's a general drop. Okay? Because, you know, if Wales generate, you know, most of your income, a 40% drop in the revenue may mean that, you know, from 1 million people, 3 Wales left or something like that. But in Destiny's case, I don't think that is the case. So, again, this is also completely in line with my predictions that we know about the previous information, that the player base got hit by 50%. Because it kind of stands to... because these numbers right here are pretty seemingly accurate for a 50... Well, okay, most of you are not gonna say how is this number accurate to a 50% decrease in player base, because, you know, clearly this is 5 times, well, almost 6 times worse than the one. Well, that's because it's almost a 50% player drop, and, well, the Final Shape is not here. There's still more times to pre-order, and remember the graph that I showed you that goes like this, and the peaks are at at the start and at the finish, because no one cares about the mid portion when there's no news and no things like that. So everything currently is going exactly according to predictions. Just great stuff, boys.
Destiny 2 experienced a significant decrease in popularity among players. As per the report, the game's revenue projections for the year were below 45%. Again, pre-orders are important, and a lot of the forward projections there are depending on those pre-orders.
Now, granted, maybe Disney pulls a miracle out of the hat, which is, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, severely unlikely, obviously, but there is a chance that, the final shape actually turns out to be Giga Chad and, people play it. Because the redemption is always there. But again, does anyone really believe that the final shape is going to be actually that good? Hell no. Hell no. Because the final shape can't be as good as the Witch Queen, as good as any of the previous expansions. To recuperate at this point, the final shape needs to be like, if here's a bad expansion, here's a normal expansion, here's a great expansion, then the final shape needs to be here for that to happen. It needs to be Baldur's Gate 3 level of, oh my god, this is amazing.
And so the 45%, we were all wondering how in the world, we thought the projections were astronomical, but maybe it wasn't. With pre-orders being as low as what Charlemagne is projecting here, that makes a lot more sense now, the 45% miss. Now, it's worth noting that the expansion sales aren't the sole revenue stream for Destiny 2. Season Pass, which received a 20% increase in price in 2023, along with cosmetic bundles, dungeon keys, in-game monetization. A merchandise sale also played major roles and contributed to the game's revenue projections. However, due to low player sentiment, popularity, and engagement retention, it seems the monetization spending in the Eververse store from Destiny 2 players took a massive hit in 2023. Then comes the marketing void during the 6-month-long delay period for the final shape, with no new announcements, details, or promotional initiatives for the upcoming expansion to sustain player engagement and interest. Yeah, dude. I'm hoping like March, they're gonna probably start ramping things up. Maybe April, they're gonna start ramping things up. But the whole way all of that was just handled was so poor, We've had delays before in the past, but not in the way that this was delayed. The delays in the past was like, hey, here's the Vidoc, here's the reveal for the upcoming expansion, and they would show those things, we would get hype, and then they would say, to make this really worth it, we're delaying things by a month, 2-3 months, right? And that was okay because it was part of the Vidoc reveal. Again, the delay here was announced after the Vidoc reveal, and actually a month after.
The hell is the Vidoc reveal though?
The layoffs. And so we're seeing all this bad news and stuff, and so it just screams mismanagement. That's what it screams. Now, Destiny's future of uncertainty, no more annual expansions. The revelation that Bungie is transitioning away from the traditional seasonal model to embrace a narrative structure centered around episodes sparked concerns among players about the fate of annual expansions, the backbone of Destiny 2's overarching stories. And
okay, I think we're honestly kind of done. Let's check what this is. This Destiny 2 player count number.
Their numbers. The game post analysis shows that the latest season, Season of the Wish, exemplifies this decline, marking the lowest day one peak for a seasonal release ever on Steam, with a mere
okay, that's also bad.
94,000.
But honestly, I'm not exactly sure how much we're supposed to understand from this. Is this actually useful information? I'm gonna say no. Anyway, that was our boy Utz the Cross. Destiny 2 is dead. Better get used to it, buddy. It's gone. Unless Microsoft decides it's time to save it or something. Who knows? Anyway, this was Christopher saying thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.